Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video. A little bit of the shamanic drumming in back. But I wanted to go through the chakra system. And there's certain modalities that we're going to go through that help with energetic clearing, cleansing, and releasing out of you and your auric field. Okay? Again, chakra is Sanskrit for wheel or spinning disc. It's the points that we talked about where the first chakra is the root chakra. This is where you hold your beliefs, the I ams. Okay. It's usually statements of affirmation, even though you might not have been aware that you were affirming as you took that energy on, and in the experiences that you have experienced thus far. So you can actually transmute the statements that you have made thus far that are not in alignment with whom you really are. You might have said, I am afraid, or I am loved. You might have said, I am a failure, or I am successful. These are affirmations that rest within your root. This is your security or insecurities that you hold within you. And these come from your own affirmations, and these come from the energetic affirmations that other people have stated that you have absorbed into yourself. But what do you want to be? This is the root where you get to choose what you are and what you decide you want to be. And no one else has any say on it. In fact, you can do these things in front of people. You can do these things in front of a mirror. You can also do these things by yourself, in the sanctity of your stillness and in your serenity of being by yourself. And you can work on yourself that way. As you release, those tensions go away. As you absorb, you take on all the attachments to that energy. And you may absorb things that you don't want to actually be in you. Next is the sacral chakra. Sorry, the root chakra is associated with red. It's also variations of red. The brighter, more inviting red is the true essence. The darker shaded type of red is the not me essence, but I have taken on myself. The sacral chakra is the orange color, and same thing. The more vibrant, inviting orange is your higher energetic self and your core essence, whereas the darker shaded orange is more the things that you hold within you in that chakra that isn't really you, but you have attached yourself to or identified with as being a part of you. This is where your feels are at. I feel statements. I feel alone, or I feel loved. These are affirmations in that capacity that you take on and don an identity of. And yes, every emotion, every thought, and if it doesn't resonate with you in your physical self, it will show up in some physiological form of discomfort or an unwellness. Remember, we hold on to things maybe for a short duration for it to serve us at a certain capacity, but when we hold on to that thing that no longer serves us, can actually make us unwell. So we release out. We absorb in and we release out. The next is your solar plexus. This is your affirmations and your seat of power of I do's or I don'ts. This is the determining factor of I do meaningful things, or I do whatever I want to. Both have a connotation to them. Both are in the spectrum of higher vibration, higher energy, and lower vibration, lower energy. Whatever you have within you and have attached that label to is in your file cabinet that will come and resurface again in relationships, in people, in places, in things. But we have a source to cleanse and clear that. Next is your heart chakra. Your heart chakra is the love affirmations or the hate affirmations. Yes, they are attributed to the same chakra. I love this. I love that. I hate this. I hate that. Those are attributed to the heart chakra, which is right about here. And then there's another heart chakra above it that's usually in pink. But your solar plexus is a yellowish color. Your heart chakra is a greenish color, which sometimes you can find a green turquoise, green adventuring, connect with nature because nature is green. And these statements that don't belong in you, that you are holding on to, might be contributed to how well you actually are. Remember, just because you may not feel unwell or experience unwellness in your physical nature doesn't mean that your emotional nature and your mental nature isn't affected. Your next is your throat chakra. Throat chakra is the I speaks, our personal truths. Now, this is where we confound our truths with someone else's idea of truth and our pure core essence of truth. What we have seen through the veil of illusion of a fuller truth, okay, with discerning eye. And we'll get to that in just a moment. The throat chakra is it's about a light bluish, powder bluish color. And in that chakra, you are releasing the false truths that you hold on to, okay? It's okay if you don't know what those false truths are. When you are working with your chakras and you are going through the cleansing and clearing and balancing of the energetic self, you are sending energy that way, and it's going to go where it needs to go. Your next is your third eye chakra, which is just about right here. And a lot of times it's also referred to as the brow chakra or your inner eye. Inner eye is also relative to the pineal gland. And this is your spirit eye. This is your eye without using your physical eyes. These are the I see affirmations. When someone brings a statement to you and you might be in agreement with them based on historical references and what you have experienced, you reconfirm that even though it may not actually be part of what you're supposed to hold on to, and you say I see, which means I see what you are saying, but you may be doing it at a subconscious level and not actually consciously aware to see through and reject that I see. These can create an imbalance in all 3, 4, 5, 6 bodies that you possess, and I guarantee you there's more bodies. We're just not going to go that far into depth of it. But the third eye. A lot of people want to race to the third eye and open the third eye to get to tap into their innate spiritual gifts that's associated with the third eye. But there's a reason why you start from the root and work your way up. Because the thing that might be standing in your way or blocking your progress of living your best life is probably at the root system that needs addressing, expressing, and releasing. Okay? That's why we go from the root, the first chakra, upward. All right? When you're in a Reiki session, it may look going downward because they're using the different approach in which they are going from the crown down your body. And at the same time, they are sweeping your auric field of any energetic debris that comes up off you in that moment. Okay? Crown chakra is right above your head, right about here, and closely, and just like the third eye, closely associated with the color purple, but can also be resonating with a white or milky white color. This is your seat of knowing, and I don't mean just at the surface level of something. I mean an in-depth knowing of something with such great certainty that even if an illusionary state came into your awareness, you would be able to combat it with the actual truth of knowing. This is statements that someone might bring something to your awareness and you say, I know, or I don't know. It's okay to not know, because now you found an area for potential growth. All right. This is also where we end up thinking that we do know, and we start spouting ignorant statements. And the ignorance is not knowing. It's not a negative connotation to put anyone down. And it's not any fault or blame because they didn't know better. It's just how they were taught. And they might have stopped at the teaching level of the information and not gone deeper into the information. But these can be energetically cleared and cleansed and balanced as well. We take any energy in us, and we also send energy out of us. We send it out with our thoughts. We send it out with our voices. We send it out with our emotions. We send it out with our body language. We can sit there just calm and still send out energetic frequencies of what our capacity is at. When you are working on yourself, I reassure you that it's best to go to a calm and neutrality, because otherwise you will probably render some form of judgment or biased opinion or rise a limiting belief, not to be alarmed, but to address. Another form of energy clearing and cleansing and balancing is ki or chi. And a movement of art in that that is slow and deliberate and purposeful for this technique is called Tai Chi. And what you are doing is you are balancing your aura self and your auric field and any negative energy that's in there that doesn't serve you, as well as pushing out of you anything that does not serve you. As it comes to awareness, treat it, express it, and release it. Okay? Sometimes we might compress the energy, transmute the energy, and push the energy out of us. Remember, we're not pushing it out towards somebody. We're just removing it. We're just releasing it out of us. Okay? And we're trusting the universe to transmute it and transform it into a greater potential for either to come back to us in a greater state or to go to someone else that is seeking that greater state. Yoga. another form of reflexology where you are manipulating your body to get the flow of energy to go through. Okay. This also is the aspect of awakening the Kundalini, which is believed to be a serpent that rests at the root system and goes in a pattern like this up to the crown and then circles and comes back in the opposite direction. And you can awaken it through yoga, dance, Tai Chi, running, nature, meditation, lifting weights, eating nutritiously, practicing mindfulness, resonating with affirmations that you desire to experience or want to replace. Remember, we release to add back in good or greater value. Cool? All right. And I'm not going to go into each of these techniques and forms. I do want you to do your due diligence. And if you have a local studio that teaches Tai Chi or teaches yoga or a form of soft clearing, cleansing, and balancing energy, I would recommend it. I am trained in martial arts as well. So a lot of the stuff is more of a review information for myself. And sometimes if you don't use it for a great amount of time, it's like the old phrase, you either use it or you lose it. And you don't really truly lose it. It just gets stored in a file cabinet, and it only comes out when it absolutely necessarily needs to. Whether it's to protect yourself or a situation arises that requires it to come out. Okay. Reiki practitioners. Reiki practitioners can help you with balancing your chakras. Like I said earlier, they start from the head and they work their way down. The other two so in your palm there is a energy output here and an energy output here, as well as the bottom of your feet. So as you're breathing and you're releasing, you can also direct the flow of energy to the base of your feet and send it back to Mother Earth, Gaia, the ground, whichever you feel most comfortable with addressing it. Mother Nature. And they help you with going through energetic blocks that you may not be consciously aware of, that you have been holding on to, that actually is making you unwell in multiple bodies. Reiki practitioner, there's multiple levels. The first level of Reiki is those who work on themselves in close proximity of persons, because they have not learned the distance Reiki yet, which is in level 2, and they haven't been attuned to the symbols of intention of providing that Reiki. So if for some reason your mind goes jumping like monkey mind, which is basically you're at one subject and then you jump to another thing and then you jump to another thing before you come back to where you were at, it still works even when you're jumping around, but it's best to have a calm mind and a clear intention that you are providing a service of facilitating the flow to bring them up into resonance and frequency to generate their own healing process. Okay. Level 2, you get introduced to the symbols and you get them attuned to you. They basically are put into your aura, and your aura allows them to seep into you and it becomes part of you. Okay. And then the practitioner who is well knowledgeable of it will use those symbols either in their mind's eye, physically, or they might have some symbols around them. They might even tattoo them on them for some reason. No judgment, it's their choice, right? To give them remembrance of how to draw the symbol and what the symbol is purposeful for. So the first Reiki symbol that you are given is the power symbol. We like to call this the light switch. It basically is the turn it on and provide. Whereas the second symbol is the harmony and balance. This is where your mind and your heart come in coherence, okay? And then the third is the distance Reiki symbol, which can be performed on aggressive animals. It can be performed at distance of anyone that says yes, they are open and allowing for Reiki to occur, because we do not give Reiki without someone's permission. Same thing with shamanic practitioners. You cannot do something for someone without them requesting it. It will be basically met with a block, and then if they do have a block up, a very well versed practitioner will request that the energy be sent to someone who else is open and receptive to receiving it, and they don't have to know who that person is. Okay. And you can combine the modalities. You can combine shamanic practices and Reiki practices, or crystal therapy, or art therapy. In fact, you can release through the act of art or creating. And this is just a headband that I found pieces in a local hobby store and glued it with crafting glue of clear quartz crystals, selenite crystals, black onyx crystals, and I used the phases of the moon crescent in a black headband and just allowed it to bond together. You might be into maybe wire wrapping. This is a representation of black onyx in which it absorbs negative energy that comes into your purview, or that you might be holding on to and not even realize that you are holding on to it. You can do a wire wrap, put some pewter onto it, a copper wire, thread it through some of the pre-drilled holes, and a base, and create some jewelry. Also, art therapy releases. You don't, and most of the time you're not even thinking about anything else other than that aspect of creating something. That's where clear mind comes from. Okay, and the same thing with dance. Same thing with movement art. Movement art, you may have an unbalanced mind and you might start dancing with an unbalanced mind, but as you go through that process of dance, you start to reshape your mind into a more calm and fluid flow with the motion type. And it doesn't matter whether you have been classically trained to dance or if you're just moving your body. You're literally knocking off the negative energetic fragments that you have attached to yourself. Okay. Shaman practitioners believe in 3 levels, and that's the upper earth, middle earth, and lower earth. The upper earth is like spiritual insight, also possible spiritual fragments that you have given out that hasn't come back to you. These are part of your soul essence, okay? Your astral body essence. Middle is basically equal to your regular earth, but in non-ordinary earth. This is where you actually see beyond the veil of physicality, okay? And then in the lower portion is actually where you find your spirit animal. Your spirit animal is your guide. It helps you go, and it's strongly recommended before you do any shamanic traveling that you don't go without your spirit animal, because your spirit animal will guide you to whatever question you might have or whatever you are trying to seek an answer for. Okay. If you want resources on it, you can find these books. It's by Jim Ewing. His Native American name is Pathfinder, because he used to do, he's not currently doing but he used to do shamanic traveling to retrieve soul pieces for persons. And as those pieces came back, people still had to work through the energetic debris that was attached to them. So Reiki shamanism is the combination of combining both Reiki and shamanism. Healing plants and animals from a distance. Plants and animals have a life force signature just as we do. Most of the time they operate on instinct, unless you have an animal in physical form that actually acts outside of the normal capacity of a normal animal or pet. And this one will probably know when something's awry in the house, or they will just get that vibe from another person that they don't want to be around that person for some reason. It's cool. It's understandable. Clearing. This is clearing lands, areas, homes, spaces that you frequent. And these don't have to be physically seen for you to do so. You can actually do these within your mindscape and imagine flowing energy, wisps of energy around your body and pouring out of your hand. Sometimes I will walk through a shopping center or grocery store parking lot, and I will put my hands down and allow the outpouring of clear mind, Reiki energy to flow throughout the parking lot. And anyone that is receptive and open to receive it, I give that invitation to receive it. No charge whatsoever. Like I said, I am here to help other people become well by working through their own selves. Sorry, there was a bug that flew around my head. Still flying around my head. Finding sanctuary in nature. Nature is a natural cleanser of negative energy. Just as the canopy of trees absorb the toxins in the air, they also help with absorbing the toxins within you. If you were to spend time next to nature, and literally it's like hugging a tree, it will take on the negative properties, and you will probably have a higher mind or a calm mind after doing so. Dreams of the Reiki shaman. This is when I talked about dreamscapes, dream weaving, and actually being consciously aware while you are dreaming and determining where you want the dream to go. And a lot of times our deepest questions will surface in our dreams, though we may see it as a nightmare or a counterintuitive experience because of the level of knowing that we are currently at. Not to be alarmed, not to be afraid. We give a negative connotation because of nightmares, but really nightmares cannot harm you. There is no scientific proof anywhere out there that they can actually harm you. However, you can take on stressors of the images that you perceive. And in those stressors, you're bringing it from higher dimension into lower dimension into your physical body. So that's where you may get stressors from nightmares or dreamscaping of whatever's in your mind. A lot of your imagination will pop up in your dreamscapes. But the same thing, you can do Reiki, you can do energy clearing. In fact, you don't even have to be attuned to the frequency of it while you are in dreamscape, because you are resonating with your astral body, your soul body, and you can just put your hands out and you'll see the energy flowing out of your hands into the area, and you can transmute that which you are seeing into a higher vibrational pattern or into a lesser, depending on your mindset and depending on how it's resonating with you. Remember, nothing to be afraid of. It's just telling you that there are some areas in you that may need some work, okay? But these are some clearing techniques that you can use: art therapy, chakra cleansing, Reiki sessions. You can use crystal therapy. You can use candle therapy. Candle therapy is visioning. You might use a physical candle, but you're visioning in your mind's eye of that candle, and you can change the color of that candle in your mind's eye for corresponding with each chakra point, and allow it to burn in a non-harmful way, but burn away the negative energetic pieces that you have absorbed into you. Okay. Again, when you are doing clearing, whether it's a land, space, home, or otherwise, drink water. As you release, water comes in and replenishes, okay? Brings in those new cells and disperses throughout your body, okay? And when I say home, you're not just cleansing and clearing and balancing your physical structure of a home, but your home, your vehicle that you use to move around, which is your body. But you can use these things on inanimate things as well. Your house, your car, your books, anything that somebody had gifted you or you purchased from somebody. You can use it for future events that haven't even occurred. You can say, I send Reiki energy to the future experiences that come into my path to bring out my greatest potential with highest love, compassion, forgiveness, peace, tranquility, and it will come in the capacity. And then remember, I said, bring this to me greater than I can imagine. That's giving control to the universe to bring that in a greater capacity than our physical selves may conduce as an imagined state. Because remember, we may not always think of very specific details of everything that we want to experience in life. So it will come as you say. Ask and it is given. Yes? Sometimes when you ask and it isn't given, it's not that it's not coming. It's that something in the element or variable hasn't been met for you to experience it at that moment in time. It doesn't mean it's not coming. It doesn't mean that it hasn't been answered. It just means something in the variable needs to change or open up to receive that. That's why I said that if you want to experience something, don the personality and the clothing of that imagined person living in a greater aspect of their life for that greater potential to come into, because you're going to attract it into you. Just like the black hole, you attract into you that which you are. So if you want to be something, you must be that which you wish to attract into your experience. Everything that you have experienced in life is because you already have an aspect of that within you. Every experience, whether it came in as a negative experience or a positive experience, okay? Which tells you that there may be some work you have to do within you if it's coming in a less than favorable way, okay? This isn't you casting blame on someone else. This is them providing themselves as a role or character to present before you what is within you, okay? Love on yourself, love on other people in a highest capacity that your core essence rests with, okay? And nothing can come in, nothing can rob it as you give it, okay? When you attach a condition to your love, that's where negative occurrences can pop in, because you're utilizing your love in a capacity of which you're hoping someone else responds. But again, they have their own free will. They have their own choices to make. They have their own decisions to make. And if they pick up on the vibration that you are sending, that it's a half love, which means that you're just saying it with your words and not actually expressing it from within to receive something else in a temporary format, you're not going to be satisfied. and they're not going to be appreciative of it because it's a temporary satisfaction. And then you are going to start looking for another thing to complement that so that you feel that thing again. When it's genuine, you become more satisfied and you're not looking for the next thing because of how genuine that is. Okay, so land clearing, home clearing, yourself, structure, nature, items that you possess, and people that you come in contact with. You can sit in an office or a conference room and a coach comes through and helps you become a greater aspect of yourself in your position or a position that you seek to acquire. And in that same capacity, you could be putting Reiki in the conference room without anybody knowing. You can actually move the energy in a room without being attuned to Reiki, just by the outpouring of your palms, and just transmute the energy in the room. And emotions will change, demeanor will change, mindsets will change. They'll be more conducive, more open, and receptive to differing views to come to a collaborative cohesiveness of solving the problem that may have presented itself. And then you will have a greater solution that maybe your boss is expecting, or maybe you are expecting. But remember, when we expect things, we don't actually receive them in that expectation. And we open it up to the possibility of less favorable occurrences until we get very specific. Okay? But go ahead and try that. Go ahead and throughout your house, in your car, or in nature, and just open up your palms and let your energy flow. If something needs to come out, it will come out. If an energetic pickup that you're picking up and it feels hefty or haughty, put your hands out and just with a clear mind have the intention of cleansing, purifying, and clearing and balancing the energy in said location, place, people, places, things. Okay, the only thing you cannot do is do it for two people without their approval. And remember, you're not doing it to them, you're just assisting them in becoming well for themselves. Okay, facilitate, not do at. Okay, but in that, go ahead and try that. Okay, and also the other stuff that we had talked about, that doesn't require certifying body or require a specific technique in order to be attuned to that specific frequency. Try it. Just like shadow work. Shadow work doesn't require being attuned to do it. It just requires a still mind and being open to what comes to your purview and being willing to work through it. And then send that Ho'oponopono prayer. Again, that could be in past, in present, and in future. Okay? I love you. Be well, be well, be well.